Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, thank you for being here. I am so grateful, and I'm excited to do this episode. We're going back to the basics. I was thinking of what topic I wanted to do for today's episode, and I thought, why not go back to the basics, because it's always what we need. And this is going to be very powerful. So after you listen to this episode, if it resonates with you, if you have any aha moments, if it clarifies or confirms anything for you, please share it with a friend who has empathy and compassion for you. Today's topic is 3 things narcissism in family does to you. So I'm going to be specifically talking about 3 things that narcissism, any kind of narcissistic behavior, tendency in family does to you. It does so many things, but I'm going to focus on 3 things today to make it clear and grounded for you. Excuse me. And we have kind of like a storm outside. You might be hearing the waves. I hope it's soothing, or maybe you don't even hear it. I hope my voice is clear. I'm holding the microphone today because of the way I'm sitting today. It's nighttime, and here we go. So, I talk a lot about narcissism in family on this podcast, and one of the main reasons that I am doing this podcast is because I came to, I didn't even think that I would be using the word narcissism so much in creating something, or even using this word after I realized so much stuff about my family in the larger circle, in a very, very large circle. I realized a lot of patterns, and not just my lineage or my family, but great, fascinating patterns within families all around the world, but especially, I think, more hidden and just deep-seated in the eastern part of the world, Middle East, and if you go more east as well. But there is narcissism everywhere in the world now, and I had a huge breakthrough almost 2 years ago. It's going to be 2 years, I guess, in, 3-4 months later. So it's not even 2 years. So I am enjoying the fact that I have changed my life so tremendously, and it's not even it hasn't even been 2 years. And if they would tell me I would be able to do so much and change so much in my life in I don't know how many months, like in 14 months, I changed my life to another level. And I'm not bragging about this. Like, it's still quite challenging. I have, it was very challenging the last 2 weeks. The last 1 week, 2 weeks, it was maybe more. I had a lot of challenge. I was challenged a lot, but it's just my challenges now are different. Like, it's on, once you start this path, once you become clear, like super clear on what the F happened in your family and what it caused in you and what's going to happen if you just accommodate it, and how it's not love, never gonna be love when you accommodate it. It has nothing to do with love. It's where there is lack of love, those moments, that energy. And yeah, so let's keep on going. So, but I just want to say narcissism in family is very common all throughout the world. And whenever I hear someone talking about whatever is stopping them in their life, like whatever it may be, and or however it may seem, whatever the story is, I always see this same thing. And it's such a hidden thing, this hidden narcissism, because these people who gave us really hard times, or who were or are still difficult, or whatever the thing is, it's always so hidden that people don't look there, and it's challenging. It takes courage. It's not what others do. It's not what you see. It's not what's talked about. So my intention is to create clarity for you, to really see what is going on, to see the whole picture, so that you see that it was not just like this or that incident, but it's more like they're all connected. There is a more energy of narcissism in family is very consistent. It has an intention, and it works if you don't create the clarity. It works. It has very deep impact in you if you don't wake up to it, if you don't create the clarity, if you don't take action. And I'm gonna end the episode with 3 things that you need to do. You get to do now to change it all. You can completely change it and make it your strength, like use it as leverage to really go out for your life. So the first thing, and that brings me to my first points, what narcissism does to you, if there was narcissism in your family in any shape or form. I'm not going to talk about narcissism itself so much in this episode, so please go back to any of the episodes I did around narcissism, what it looks like. I want to do more episodes on this, going deeper, giving examples. So please DM me on my Instagram at Kevela. It's on the show notes. It's my goddess wear brand. It's my fashion brand, actually, but that's the account I used for Reunite with Self podcast as well. So please DM me if you have a specific situation, some doubts, if you're just wondering if can it be related to this, whatever you're going through in your life. And I would love to do an episode on that, not using your name. And you can pick your name for the episode. So the first thing, which is huge, and it is so common, the first thing that narcissism in family does to you is you play small. You play small, And most of the time, which happened to me, like this was my story, big time, without you even realizing it. Because when you don't actually realize, it's more prevalent, it has more dominance, it has more power, it has more influence. It really rules your world, your life, and you are not even aware of it. Because if it's something, I always talk about the narcissism that is with the subtitles. And this is every time, this is the story that I hear. Every single time. This is because it's like, depending on your intelligence too, it has to be so hidden. And other things too, which I will talk about on the other points, but it has to be so hidden that it's still continuing in your life today. You have no idea, and without you realizing it, you're playing small. And it did not seem as if I was playing small when I tell you this. It did not seem at all. At all. It seemed as if I was this courageous, this independent woman. I always talk about it this way. It seemed as if I was going out of my comfort zone. I was going out of my comfort zones. But, it's not just going out of your comfort zone. It's how you do something. Because with your own, your potential, if you're playing full out, the path is always different if you're playing small in a way that's really hidden, or you're playing full out and you're going in this uncertain path, but you create that certainty for yourself and you find solutions and you act so much differently. And it's the last one bit of thing that you do that creates that difference. Or it's not even about how much of an effort you put into it when you look from outside. Looking from outside or even within, because I was like, I had no idea what was happening. I was giving all of myself to a lot of things in my life. It seemed as if I was taking courageous action. It seemed as if I was doing all the things none of the women around me would even dare to do. But I wasn't getting any results. I was getting very poor results. I was very frustrated. That was my main thing. And that's like still the main emotion that I work around. Like, my big challenge is frustration. Like, if you ask me, how is your day? And if it's a challenging day for me, my response 90% of the time, no matter what the story is or what area of my life, my response is frustrated. So you might have something different. I'm a very passionate person, and I love to be, because, I live with passion. I love to, suck the juice out of life in a very, I love pleasure. I just love living life fully. So it's, part of being highly sensitive person too, because you feel so much. So you feel the joy more than others, more than the people that might not see themselves as highly sensitive, or you feel the beauty of things. You see a sunset and you feel so much more than, just anyone looking at it. So, it's really amazing. I love being highly sensitive. It's my superpower. And if you are highly sensitive, please know that it's your superpower. That's life. Feeling is life. But, my thing is frustration. And I was looking at my human design, and I don't know much about human design. I just know like very few things. I am a manifesting generator, and I think I am sacral emotional. I'm not sure. I'm still learning. I'm still learning about human design, but I was looking at my chart, whatever. And it said that my challenge was, the emotion was frustration. So it can be anything for you. But why am I talking about this? So it's still the emotion that I work around. And I know that it's going to be like something that I will work on. I will, improve, not have it so affect me so much, which I'm doing. But I know that it's going to be like, I have a lot of fire in my chart and in my natal chart, and it's just something that I will work through my whole life journey. I know this. But my before and after, like my life before I came to all of this like breakthrough through a very tremendously challenging time in my life. Like I went through a tremendously challenging time in my life. I died, came back basically, and I started looking at things in a much simple way, because actually life is really simple and love is very simple. And if there is any complication, there is lack of love there. Love is never complicated. Love never needs excuses. It's just love. Simple, just love. And, but my experience about love in general through my connections was totally the opposite. And I was like so blind to it, because it was what was familiar for me. And I don't mean to say that I never felt loved or anything like this, but life is never black and white. That's why I talk about narcissism in a very different, in a very realistic way. It's like very grounded. It's the actual experience of millions, if not billions of people on this planet right now. So I was playing small, but it did not seem like that one bit. I would be the last person you would think that would be playing small. Why am I giving this example? Because it has to be that hidden for you. So you might be feeling like you are playing small, or you might be feeling like you're not playing small. That's not the problem, but you're just feeling frustrated. You feel like your life is not moving forward. You feel like you're not spending your energy on things that really give you joy and fulfillment. You might have different stories going on in your life. And one big thing that narcissism does to you is you play small. Why? Just to put it in short, you play small to accommodate narcissism, because the narcissistic person, whoever has narcissistic tendency and behavior towards you, they see life as competition. It's their psyche. And you might be their child, you might be their spouse in your adult life, like you might be a sibling, a cousin, a nephew, I don't know, you might be the older one or the younger one in your family. Doesn't matter. It all starts with family, and you might end up having similar relationships, not similar relationships, but similar feelings in your adult relationships as well. The stories are always different, so it's more tricky. So you play small without even realizing it, and you play small not to, let's say, activate the narcissist, because when they get triggered, when they feel there is competition, and you might be their child, how do I put this? Because I want to do another episode just basically on this, but I want to make this simple now. You play small not to have more attack on you from the narcissist. And this stuff is so hidden. And please DM me if you have any specific question about this. So based on your story, I would love to do an episode and give you examples of what might have happened and how it might be playing out and what really might be, holding you back, and what are the things that you can do today. So you play small. Basically, you just give up on your life. Like, it costs you your energy, your life, everything. If you have narcissism in your family, and if you don't create clarity about it, and if you don't take the actions that I'll be talking about at the end of the episode. The second thing what does narcissism in family do to you? You have a very wrong idea about relationships. You have a very wrong idea about what a healthy relationship is in any area of your life. You have a totally romanticizing about it or thinking about it. You might be thinking of a much healthier way of connecting, but what you enable, what you accommodate in your life is very unhealthy, very imbalanced, nothing to do with love, nothing to do with healthy connection, nothing that's going to give you true fulfillment, nothing that your higher self would want for you or God or universe would want for you. But you're going all through that to be able to come to love and to realize what's really happening and the challenge it has for you to actually choose love and choose self-love and choose yourself first in order to be able to create that healthy relationships in your life. But what narcissism in family does to you is you have a very wrong idea about what a healthy relationship is in your body, in your nervous system. Because what's familiar for you? What was your experience? Did your experience include, enabling a lot of BS, accommodating a lot of BS, and finding excuses for the other person and seeing their wounds and having empathy for them and, just having so much compassion for them that you did not show that compassion to yourself and you were not clear about, no, this is not right. This is not necessary. This was never necessary. And whatever this person is doing to me has a lot of influence on me because I am human. It's very easy to manipulate and control someone, especially if they're younger than you. If you are raised by anyone who has narcissistic tendency, just we have to realize if you have narcissistic tendency or not, if you're a parent, it's a child's game to abuse someone, to control someone, to manipulate someone. It's with a blink of an eye, with a tone of voice, just something that you do in a subtle way that in your subconscious how it's going to affect a person. It's very easy. It's very easy to control and manipulate your spouse. As an adult, you pick that person when you are an adult. You pick that person consciously, you choose them. You're not choosing your mom and dad consciously, right? So when you are raised by anyone who has narcissistic tendencies, what you become familiar to in your nervous system, in your body, what you think is love because it's shown to you maybe by the other parent that, you got to enable this. This is normal. That person is pissed, tired, angry, stressed, whatever. And you, in your child brain, you think that, loving someone requires you to play small, enable, accommodate, always having the empathy for them, but never receiving it. It's okay. And, in your child's mind, and when you grow, without realizing, you actually have the hope that they will and they would do the same thing to you. And oh my, the stories I hear around me, me having a lot of narcissistic people in my family. I have a huge family And the types of people that I've known in my life, the stuff that I enabled in the name of love, like yikes. Like yikes. I don't even want to see some of their faces because they did not even have any kind of, any kind of value for me in my life, like never. And the stuff that they did and I enabled, because that was what I learned in my body, not just like someone telling me to do something. What I was learning in my body, in my nervous system, what was becoming familiar to me. It's, I'm originally from Turkey, and in the Middle East, narcissism is like, it's so common. It's really, really crazy. And, it's like, yikes. It's really yikes because, no one is ever going to come and tell you what the hell is really going on. They might support you with your problems, with your spouse, with your ex, with whatever, but nobody's going to come and tell you, if you're having these issues in your adult life, let's look at your parents. Like nobody's going to do this, especially if you have a family that looks normal, that looks happy. I'm talking about especially the people that are like in your closer circle. Or you might talk about it in a very, surfacey way, but when you really go deep, when you're really honest with yourself, it just takes a moment, only one moment for you to wake up. Just one moment for you to make the decision that you're going to change your life. It only takes one moment. I want that moment to be sooner for you, or maybe you've already realized this and you're working on yourself, and it's we are all recovering. I'm a recovering codependent. I'm recovering. It's going to be my whole life journey. I'm learning so much every single day. I'm learning so much about myself and being so compassionate to myself every single day. And nobody's like enemy, by the way. Like nobody's enemy. Of course, there are people that you should have very like good amount of boundary that, you don't even need to see them again, maybe ever. But there are different types of relationships where you might have narcissism, and it never means that you need to cut them off from your life or have a very different relationship or a colder relationship. It really depends on the story, the person, whatever is happening. But that transition time is very important. Like when you are going through that huge change, I might have done a episode on this, but I just want to like continue doing these specific episodes on what you can do in these times to really get to the next level in your life. So what does narcissism in family do to you? You have very wrong idea in your body, in your nervous system, what a healthy relationship is. So in your adult life, in your romantic life, in your work life, in social settings, in your friendships, in any kind of relationship you have in your adult life, it's great to look at them and be honest about them as well. Is it balanced? Am I only giving certain things and not getting it back? Will I ever get it back? Am I accommodating or enabling something here? Which brings me to my third point here. So if you had narcissism in your family, you're great at accommodating and enabling bullshit. You are amazing at this. You are such expert in this that it doesn't even take a lot of effort from your side. It's just automatic. Because and I want to add this and continue with the other thing. And you're susceptible to lose a lot of time with the wrong situations and people in your life. So what it does to you, if you had narcissism in family, you're very susceptible to lose a lot of time in your romantic relationships, if you're creating a family, if you have created a family who has maybe narcissistic tendencies and behavior towards you, if you, in your work life, like all of this is very much of like a result of what you went through. It's a result of what you went through. It's a result of what you went through. And people who were abused by narcissistic tendency, and I always talk to the ones that have a lot of compassion to others, have a lot of empathy, and highly sensitive. This podcast is for the highly sensitive, for the empathic, for the compassionate souls, the open-hearted souls. So if you identify yourself as this, if you see yourself like this, if you have a lot of empathy for other people, and if it's something easy for you, which is like very easy for me. If I'm around people, I just like, especially regarding family, I don't even need to know the person. It can be a much older man than me. It can be a woman. They can be young, much older. It doesn't matter. I just know their story with their families, like exactly what their blockage is coming from. It's just very natural to me. I see their wounds, so I'm great at like tending to their wounds. I can see what they really need, what they're craving, what they're thirsty to, because it's something very familiar to me. I know how it feels. So what I want to say here is I'm learning a lot about this. This is very interesting. I am someone who has a lot of empathy, and I believe that people who is highly empathic, I'm not talking about people who has empathy when someone is suffering or something, or, they pity someone. I'm not talking about this like in certain situations. I am talking to the ones that are highly empathic. If you are highly empathic, there is a very big possibility, and I'm learning this, and this is really fascinating. There's a big possibility that you were raised by at least one person who had narcissistic tendencies. I believe we are born with the ability to have empathy for, like, it's just like being highly sensitive. You feel so much. So sometimes the boundaries are not very clear either. It's like their story, your story. It gets enmeshed. Like you feel their pain or whatever it is so much. And it's great for others. If you are highly empathic, and if you are not a narcissist, it's great for other people. It's really amazing to be around because you would feel understood by them. It's the best feeling in the world. But what is so fascinating is that I'm learning this, and it makes so much sense to me, so much sense. I believe that we're born with the ability, like some people are born with this. Whereas, some people are born with the tendency to become narcissistic, and their wounds became their excuse to be narcissistic, not the reason, but the excuse, because we all have a lot of traumas. Some people choose to be narcissistic, and others choose love, or, I don't want to say love, because then when you accommodate narcissism, it's not love, but others become very empathic, compassionate, open-hearted people. It's a choice. Like when I say a choice, we have to understand that enabling narcissism and finding excuses for their thing is not the truth, because we all have a lot of wounds. We all have a lot of trauma that we don't even remember, because kids are so vulnerable. Like so vulnerable. And what is really fascinating is that I'm learning this, but you become more empathic because you have to be empathic to follow how the narcissist or narcissistic person is feeling. So, you can make them feel better. If you have to watch out if there is any danger. Just for survival as a child, you become even more empathic because you have to for survival. It's like, it's very, comes from like inside of you. And in order, just like like an animal, like in order to survive, you have to watch out. Okay, how are they feeling today? Are they pissed? Are they angry? Can I trigger them if I do something? Just like, being myself or playing or, making no noise or, God forbid, like, have any request, like emotional request, or the narcissist can never hold space for you, can never truly see you, can never really, it's because it's always about what they're going through, what their challenges. The whole world is always about that. But it's so fascinating that, like, next time you meet someone who is highly empathic, just realize that it might be because they were raised by at least one person who had a lot of narcissistic tendency. They had to become even more empathic, because the balance is, even if we have a lot of empathy, when we talk about a healthy relationship, a healthy romantic relationship, partnership, even though we might be feeling a lot of empathy for the other person, we always need to be able to receive that as well. And know that if I'm able to give this, it doesn't mean that I'm going to like take 50-50 every time in every moment, but it's something that I deserve as well, and something that is possible. It just comes from within me. It's a natural thing for a loving person. And so it's okay for me to receive that as well. Not just okay, but I should expect that in a relationship, to have that kind of empathy. Because someone who has empathy has the power to hold space for you, has the power of not being afraid of your emotions, because they're highly sensitive as well, for sure, if they have a lot of empathy. And so they're used to feelings. They're not afraid of them. They're not intimidated, by your feelings. And they know what pain feels like, because they feel the pain instead of bulldozing other people, or, just how do you call that? Like, I forgot the word, but it's the narcissist, or someone who has narcissistic tendency. Instead of feeling their pain, they dump that onto the other person. It's maybe the biggest problem. Instead of feeling the pain. So that's why they never have any idea what pain feels like. That's why we need the highly empathic, highly sensitive people in this world to be in their fullest power, fullest strength, them being fully shining their light. What a concept. It would change everything in this world. That's what we need. We need people who knows what pain feels like, because they actually feel their feelings, instead of dumping that onto other people, or numbing it, or running away from it, and all of that stuff. People who call themselves not sensitive. Because I believe that as humans, we're all made of feelings. We're all here to feel all the spectrum of the feelings. But if you call yourself like you're not sensitive, I doubt that. I doubt that you never had I doubt that you don't have the chance to feel them. It's like a choice. Instead of feeling your emotions, you might be someone who analyzes things instead of feeling them. These are all like the ego's protection mechanisms. And this is all good. Like, there is no judgment to anything. But the more we can be open and aware, the more we can truly become our own selves, like true selves. And that's why I call this podcast Reunite with Self. Like, the whole idea, if you had any narcissistic abuse, is for you to be fully start creating your incredible life, for you to be fully yourself. It's not about getting things from outside, but just letting go of everything, foreseeing, realizing what's not yours, what was never yours, what never belonged to you, all the self-doubt, uncertainty, limiting beliefs, like everything that ever limits you does not come from within. It came from outside. Those wounds were put on you. Those buttons were put on you by others. And it's only about unlearning these things, not like learning new things. It's all about unlearning what never belonged to you, what will never serve you. So these are the three big things, but there are so many other things that what narcissism and family do to you. And you might find yourself in situations that is very challenging in your adult life, even tormenting, confusing, and a lot of stuckness, like stuckness that you put a lot of effort into things, but things are not moving. This is a very common symptom, result of narcissism in family. But you can change all of this today. You can change all of this in one moment. Like within a moment, you make a change. Within a moment, you put the puzzle together and see what happened, what you enabled all your life, what is never going to change. It will continue tormenting you and impacting you, and will ask you to play small, and will be okay with that if you just continue like that. In one moment, you make the decision to make a stop to it. And with three big things that you can do to stop anything that never belonged to you, stopping you from creating your incredible life. The three main steps are, and in this order, is first, the main thing that saves lives is clarity. It saved my life. Clarity saved my life. If you have narcissism in family, you tend to have a lot of confusion. And I was in my, I want to give these examples so that, it doesn't, it doesn't stay confusing for you, because it seemed as if I was like I'm someone that has a lot of certainty. I am an action taker. I go after what I want. I'm usually very certain of what I want and what I don't want. I never hesitate about, I'm talking about my nature as a human. I'm very clear about if I want something or not. I was always this person, but what I took that did not belong to me, what was given to me was this confusion, self-doubt, doing things, but hesitating, one foot back, the other, one foot front, the other one back, always one foot in, one foot out, not being certain if I will be able to handle it or not. All the things. But I wasn't clear. I did not have clarity. What saved my life is clarity. What I love and adore is clarity. I love clarity. Clarity saved my life. Clarity changes everything. And this is what I want to guide you, what I want to help you with in this podcast, to create clarity for you, to support you, for you to create that clarity for yourself. The second thing is certainty. When you create the clarity, you become certain of things, not just certain of what you want in your life. That's a big thing, but also about what is this? What is happening here? What is truly happening here? Being certain of that and giving up on the potentiality of that relationship, that connection, whatever it is. Certainty is everything.
So clarity, certainty, and then holding your boundaries even when it's comfortable, especially when it's very uncomfortable. Holding your boundaries in things that feel so uncomfortable. So feels risky. Like, am I gonna belong? Will they accept me? What's gonna be the reaction? It can be really anything if it's regarding family. You have to hold your boundaries, and it comes with clarity and certainty. And then you can truly do it from a centered space instead of like, I'm not talking about, putting up walls or any egoic thing or any immature or running away. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about being very clear what is required here, what is necessary, what is my truth, what is aligned with me, what is my heart telling me. What your heart tells you is that not this time. Like, please don't give in. Don't give in. Just continue in your path. And it's never comfortable. So I will leave you with this today. I hope it served you in some way. Please let me know if you have any questions regarding anything I talk about here or not talk about. If you have any questions, if you want me to do a topic on one certain question or a situation, your story, anything, I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewela. That is Khewella. Khewela. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was, or something you found inspirational, or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.